This video is my best attempt to express as best I can, as honestly as I can, my own truth at this critical time for humanity. My deepest desire is to simply express honestly with my human family, one human being trying to get down to the bottom line of their truth and express that to others. I intend to refine this in my expression and to others. And I sincerely hope as many of my human family as possible will do likewise and will take the time to look inward, collect themselves, their thoughts, connect with their soul, and share with all of us their own truth that has surely come for so many through much suffering. I've certainly had my rough waters at sea. But I'm certainly nowhere near the extreme for what some of my human family have had to endure. And my heart aches for that. And that's what propels me to do this. Speaking into a little device. Not something I've developed the skills for. To have it go smoothly. But every day I delay. Every week I delay. Every month, every year. So many more of my human family suffer needlessly and are dying needlessly. So many. The expansion of awareness can bring one into a beautiful, beautiful state of bliss. Of bliss. And if one allows and directs their expansion of awareness into the area of present human reality, the expansion of awareness is or brings deep, deep suffering. After one has come to see all humankind as one family and as connected as we indeed are. in many ways and many levels.
I knew early on that finding truth is not the same as finding happiness. You aspire to see the truth, but once you have seen it, you cannot avoid suffering. Otherwise, you have seen nothing at all.
I intended to start this by saying I intend this video for those who already have a mind quieting practice of their own that they do. If you do not, that's fine. What I would suggest or invite is just a moment of stillness in the mind. To relax the mind. To just be in the present moment. Without claiming your thoughts. Going all different directions. This is to share my own truth and perspective that has come from a lifetime of the human experience. And in all the ways that many, many generations of human experience were encoded into my own starting seed. So if my language sounds like I'm trying to convey universal truth, I generally am not. I'm simply conveying the truth for me, for myself. I have come to see the incredible diversity of humankind, which leads to a diversity of personal truth. And in each is tremendous wisdom that has come through so many very hard fought. What has gone into each person's being who they are now, how they see life in reality. The whole aggregate of that is beyond comprehension. But each has a wisdom that can be shared with others. And that's all I'm trying to do. And hopefully something I express can help you along your path. Hopefully comfort you in some way. Maybe give you some insight, a way of looking at things that you had not before. And maybe it just helps in just a tiny way to help you evolve your own perspective, your own truth, in your own time. And I very much, genuinely look forward to hearing the truth of others, and look forward to my own continuing evolution and ongoing creation and becoming. And I welcome all the wisdom I can get. Perhaps because we are sitting atop such an enormous amount of human experience in our DNA, everything that is in us that affects how we see, how we perceive reality, all the thousands of generations of human beings that have gone into that. We're sitting atop such a volume. At least for me, some of my conditioning in that regard is quite strong. And thus I welcome all the wisdom I can get in helping to come to terms with that, because you find at a point in your life that you realize within yourself there are major conflicts and contradictions. The first step is to let that be, to be at peace with it. In the peace, in the allowing it to be, and the introspection will arise a deeper meaning, and deeper clarity. At least it has for me, and I know it has for many others. I was raised, as many have been, with instilled belief systems. Belief systems of the family, of a religion, of a society, of a country. Frameworks for how life is perceived and lived. A framework with boundaries. It was through a conflict that was agonizing for most of my life. Which I have to thank for helping me finally break out of the boxes that I was in with my own strongly instilled belief systems. For me, I see that belief systems can serve one well, can even save one's life, can keep one alive. They can also keep one constrained in a box, unable to evolve past a certain point. And stuck in that state, whatever it may be for one, unresolved conflicts and other issues. I found freedom from setting all belief systems aside. And it came more through, it was a process. I wasn't in the box and said, you know what, I'm in the box. I don't want to be in the box. I'm setting it aside. I'm breaking out. It was a process. Not even knowing it until well into the process that I was actually breaking out of the box and consciously choosing to set aside belief systems. Like that pretty much awareness was only at the end of the process. One of the things I am most grateful for my own instilled belief systems, is a commitment to honesty. It is through, for me, a commitment to honesty that was one element that made it all possible. A commitment to honesty for me meant a commitment to expanding my own awareness. I suppose I could have just been happy with the level of awareness that I had and lived an honest life within that. But another great trait that came in me through my instilled belief systems was the trait of humility. Knowing that I did not know everything. I could see, in being oriented to computers and technology, how much things were changing and how much humankind was coming to understand. For me, honesty included finding and taking in more of the truth, because I knew I didn't have all of it, not with myself and not with life and reality. And as that awareness expanded, it began to take in more and more contradictions connected with those belief systems. I finally came to see, for me, this truth. And the deep value of living aligned with this truth. One day it all finally crescendoed. In an event for me one evening. I struggled for most of my life with my own emotional development, my own emotional being. Another human being gave me a tremendous gift in giving me what I consider now to be a key to life and harmonious personal evolution. Let it be. Let it be. In my own emotional experiences, there was a resistance to things and to the emotions themselves. A suppressing and a judging. Wanting it to be otherwise. There was a lot of sadness, inner sadness throughout my life, arising from not feeling a part of the tribe. Me particularly deeply needing to feel a part of the tribe, particularly the male tribe. And it was just the set of circumstances, the set of my own starting seed in the environment that I was raised into, my parents and family, and everything that they had been created to be. It all came together for me, for this human experience and life path. I started with and still have a deep need for belonging. for acceptance in the male tribe. And the distance from what I needed and what I received through my life has always been fairly great, the distance. And it has resulted in a deep inner sadness for most of my life. And of course that set me up for the fatigue, inner fatigue for feeling that way for so long. There's so much that can be said at a deeper psychological and emotional level that goes into all that happens as a result, and all the other factors that were there. But as an adult, I really struggled to allow I resisted it was in this state of extreme fatigue for all that I had been through up until that point in my life. That another human being shared their own wisdom with me and suggested that I was going through cycles of reacting strongly to events, more strongly than my mind knew was merited for the situation, that was commensurate for the situation. I could see the emotions were much more than the event. And I was gripped in that state of emotion and emotional suffering for long periods of time, relatively. And this person suggested that, and it took a lot of suggesting. I resisted the suggestion for a long time. The suggestion was just let it be. When it happens again, when some event happens and it triggers a strong emotional reaction, just let it be. Don't judge it. Don't analyze it. Don't resist it. Don't suppress it. Let it be. The first time I really made an effort to try it. Big results. The time that I was in an emotional state or emotional suffering from the event or the experience was much reduced. I knew that. It was still, now, looking back, it was still a long time. But it was a noticeable difference to what I knew it would have been otherwise. Wow, that was a turning point. That was an absolute key for me in getting to where I am now. In loosening me from being in ways that I was stuck in my own personal evolution, and which meant an inability to get to a state of peace, of inner peace. And this was one of the primary keys for me. In my own human flowering. Another member of my human family sharing their perspective, their wisdom with me is one of the things among so many that has made it possible for me to now experience life vastly differently. Vast improvement. If you're not familiar with this idea, if you think upon anything from what you hear in my expression here in this video, I strongly encourage you to consider this and see if maybe it can work miracles in your own life. There are many who are talking about this in different ways and have been for quite a while, actually. For me, Eckhart Tolle was an important influence for me personally in deepening my commitment to, my understanding of, my appreciation for this idea. Accepting the present moment as it is. I have a lot written about trying to summarize who I am, core summary, my core principles, my core drives, my core foundation. At the very top is this principle. For me, the words that I use. All is as it is. All is as it is. All is as it is. When I was listening to Eckhart Tolle talk about this principle, I could see the rationale. I resisted it for fully taking it into the depths of my soul. I resisted that for a long time. It was another year of bleakness. So just a quick word of caution. Although it's more a combination of, for me anyway, having my mind embrace expanding awareness, taking the time to, in my present knowing, to take that as far as I could in my mind in terms of life and reality, going as far as I could with that in my mind, with my present knowing. It was very, very bleak. Because for me, I saw the great unknown, the vast unknown. And it can be so overwhelming. It is so vast. One's sense of meaning can vanish. The key for me was to surrender to that. A full, soul-deep acceptance of all as it is. And what kept me from getting to that point for a long period of time, even in such a bleak state and desperate for a shift in awareness, for it was quite bleak. What kept me from that was partly resisting, still resisting things as they are. I'm okay with that now because what that was in me was such a deep yearning to have things be better. To have something like heaven. Knowing in my soul that it is possible. Knowing in my soul that humankind could have a state of individual and collective being so much more that is an amazing experience for every human being, not free of suffering, not free of difficulty, but an experience with deep meaning and deep purpose and deep growth and evolution and becoming for everyone. Everyone rising into their own inner state of peace and well-being. So as I was listening to others talk about accepting everything as it is, I kept resisting it because I feel a lot. I feel for the suffering of others. And I didn't realize hard to put in words. I guess it was a shallow level of accepting things as they are and thinking that I had to accept the suffering of others, the needless suffering, without knowing that it can and will be otherwise. I finally came to learn for myself that a deep soul level acceptance, acknowledgement, and even embrace of the present moment as it is, present reality as it is the foundation for moving forward as if we hang on to our resistance of things as they are, that's exerting energy. It's us putting our precious energy into that we are resisting, and it persists. We are feeding it our energy. Everything is energy. The material world is a manifestation of that. With a full acceptance of things as they are, there arises a greater knowing and wisdom for how to move forward. One is not tied energetically to aspects of the present. One can devote all of their energy into their own new ways of being. That contribute to a changing, to an evolving reality in this physical world. There are many, many more who can express this far better than I. One of the reasons why I think all of us should be sharing our perspective and our truth is because we can hear truth in all different forms, but only some of it sinks in. Only some of it can work its way through our meshwork of conditioning. My emotions at the beginning primarily arose from the depths of my soul, of a personal wanting to help humankind be the amazing thing that it can be. And this is not any one particular thing or one way of being. It's embracing the full, beautiful diversity of humankind in a harmonious and sustainable and peaceful way. It is possible. And that's what we're about here. That's all I'm trying to do. With this video expression. So my own little experimenting with letting it be, that grew and grew to a crescendo and a moment in time where I finally fully surrendered to creation, or if you prefer, to the universe, to reality as it is, and as it is vastly unknown to me. I surrendered. In this video I will not try to express that experience. But I did experience pure bliss. And for quite a period of time. Some will hear that and say, well, that sounds like you're not experiencing it now. And I'll just say that's complex. If life was so, if post-surrender to creation was so simple, what fun would that be? The journey continues. The expansion of awareness continues. And I have some responsibility myself in that, my present state. Staying committed to honesty and expansion of awareness makes it hard to be in a constant state of bliss when one includes the present state of humankind and what so many of our human family are experiencing. Much gut-wrenching sorrow and suffering, needlessly. Caused by others. Humankind is on the edge of life and death. It's interesting to me how it mirrors my own personal experience. I've been on the edge of life and death, it seems, for quite a while. Of course, in some ways we all always are. But I mean more than that. Life has felt so unbearable to me for so much of life. Or perhaps more accurately, during significant periods of time, many cycles of that. And even now, due to many causes, fundamentally, though, the state of humankind, the state of civilization, these scenes resonate strongly with me at a personal level. What's behind them, what the character is experiencing in themselves. And I also see it very much at the level of humankind.
Beautiful, don't you think?
What?
The sunrise. Terrific.
Explorer, this is...
Anybody, please copy.
Is there anyone out there who sees what I see, who feels what I feel? I know there is. I can see clearly for myself that humankind is on a path, very much so, that is not sustainable, that is leading to its death. Or that's leading to hell. And the truth is, it already is. But I speak in terms of something that's more or less irreversible. But much of our human family, through the actions of other of our human family, are living in hell and are dying in hellish circumstances, needlessly. Human beings that have so much potential. All because we're still stuck on this goddamn thinking of competition, not cooperation. Well, now that we all spread onto this rock, this beautiful earth that is our mother, that birthed us. Now that we're spread all across it and nowhere else to go for now, with limited resources available for very many of us, competition will and is destroying us. There's only one way that is peaceful and sustainable, and that is through cooperation, seeing all as worthy life. All deserving the full, rich experience of life, of being human, of becoming humanity, of seeing all of us as one family. Not being offended or frightened or mad at the things that are different between us. Our diversity is our strength. It is in our diversity that gives us immense wisdom. It is a collection of life. Presently, we're killing it off. We're self-destructing. There are lots of different views of perspectives of present reality. We all see slightly different collection of things. We've all been exposed to different things, information and experience. What I see is there is not much time left for humankind to decide wants to live. That raises an issue of time criticality to our coming together and finding a way to make that happen. But what drives me more is the story of Golmudin. The boy in Afghanistan. Who had taken from him his opportunity for the human experience. I dedicate this video to his memory. Humankind in its youth is rushing to the same outcome. The end of the opportunity for the human experience. For a goal and so many others. Who are presently being brutalized by others of us on a large, massive scale. For those of my human family who are suffering so greatly, if you hear my voice, please know that I love you. In ways, I am suffering deeply and not living, not enjoying life. Knowing how much you are suffering. And I will not put time in to my own living well until all of the human family has the same opportunity. If there are any who would be comforted by talking with another human, please reach out to me. It would be such an honor for me as another human being if I could in some small way bring you a little bit of comfort. I would cherish the opportunity to let you know. I have no idea what you're going through. knowing that so much of your human family knows of your situation and are not doing everything possible to bring it to an end. If there's any way I can do anything that is in harmony with that is aligned with harmonious being. I welcome it. To any of humankind who are really lacking in meaningful connection, who are isolated. If these things I've expressed resonate with you, if you are moved to connect with me, please feel free to do so. Oh, how I yearn for meaningful connection with others in my human family. Well, for me, what drives me most is to do everything I can to help bring the needless death and suffering of others of my human family, to bring that to an end as quickly as possible. Thus, for me, there's a time urgency here. I hope for others as well. This is not time to be focusing on making one's life comfortable when so many are being denied that through the pursuit of comfort by so many others. The present global economy is killing many people. The more we participate in that, the more we are complicit. There are some countries who are very guilty of this needless death and destruction for many of our human family. To participate in those societies fully or enthusiastically, without a focus on how we stop contributing to the death of others, I see as a bit problematic morally. Thus, I personally live on the edge of life and death, without any focus on my own comforts, just trying to survive. and get to the point where I can connect with other human beings, that through our connection and our unifying, through uniting our voice, through harmonizing our voice, we can be a force to end the terrible injustices that are being carried out, that are happening to others of our human family. There are many aspects of present human reality that are factors in humankind's rush to its death. Many factors, not just one. Getting humankind onto a path of peace and harmony, sustainability, is a hard lift at this point, but it can be done. I think most of us know that one thing that needs to happen is for us to unite and to find the ways to harmonize our voices into a unified voice that still has the essence of our diversity, that has an essence of unity and vision and meaning. In our unifying, our diversity will be our strength. Here's an idea about, and I know it's happening in various ways and different degrees, the process of us uniting. To unite in small groups, finding a few other human beings with whom we strongly resonate, building a very cohesive voice that can then be expressing itself as a group in its collective diversity and beauty, and that can combine with other voices and groups. It can have as its core a cohesive group of humans who have each other's back, who deeply care about one another. Who do everything that they can to fully enable one another. In this work to save humankind. This is my initial expression, and I'm looking for my little group. Any who are moved to do so, please feel free to connect with me. And we can talk about it further. Being someone who still has a great need for acceptance and embrace within the tribe of my gender, how I identify as a male. I like the idea of a small group of males who bond together to be a powerful force and then reach out to others. At the same time, one of my core principles is to be open to all possibility, aligned with harmonious reality. So I remain open to all possibilities that are aligned with harmonious reality. If it be something different than what I am thinking and what I have described. What I want most is to have the opportunity to make my own maximum contribution, to be a foundational catalyst with others for humankind's transition to harmony. It would be nice to continue to work on my own becoming and full flowering at the same time. Thus my thoughts for what my small group might look like. Being on the edge of life and death is very tough. Feels like, for me, I'm off the edge, just hanging by one hand, just by my fingers, hanging onto the ledge. Often it seems humankind is in the same predicament, the same degree of criticality. It's tough being there. It's a tough place to be there and remain peaceful. What would help me the most? And to contribute the most to helping save humankind is meaningful connection with other human beings. I very much welcome, I very much need that meaningful connection with others. It perhaps is not a widespread experience, but I know there are many of us whose life paths have isolated them tremendously. I have not hugged another human being in many years. We're all different. I'm not one that does too well like that. Partly because I started out with a tremendous need to belong, to be embraced as a member of the tribe. So, please, if your soul moves you to connect, please feel free to do so. I'm very eager to cultivate meaningful connections with members of my human family. If you're not necessarily looking to be part of a small group at this point, but you feel moved, there's something in you that wants to talk, to maybe explore one of these areas, feel free to, if you're moved to contact me, please feel free to do so. There's no money involved. So don't worry about that. But on that note, if there are some who have abundantly, who want to help enable others in maximizing their contribution to saving humankind, I welcome conversations, for I am greatly lacking in my ability to contribute because of that. And I have a lot of ideas. I welcome whatever is necessary to do at this point to be fully enabled myself, to enable my own maximum contribution. To raise all our human family to a new way of being. Not something that's dictated by any small group upon the others, that each person is allowed to fully explore the human experience, of course, in a peaceful and sustainable way that does not harm others. That each of us and all of us can have the opportunity to fully flower in our own uniqueness. We can find a way to have it harmonize together, to make something of humankind that our galactic neighbors will stand in awe. Look where humankind was. Look at what they're becoming. The individual potential and the collective potential is so immense. I can see it. I hope you can too. If there's anything I can do to help anyone see it more clearly. I hope I can do that.
We were hunters and foragers. The frontier was everywhere. We were bounded only by the earth and the ocean and the sky. The open road still softly calls. Our little terraqueous globe is the madhouse of those 100,000 millions of worlds. We who cannot even put our own planetary home in order, riven with rivalries and hatreds, are we to venture out into space? By the time we're ready to settle even the nearest other planetary systems, we will have changed. The simple passage of so many generations will have changed us. Necessity will have changed us. We're an adaptable species. It will not be we who reach Alpha Centauri and the other nearby stars. It will be a species very like us, but with more of our strengths and fewer of our weaknesses. More confident, far-seeing, capable, and prudent. For all our failings, despite our limitations and fallibilities, we humans are capable of greatness. What new wonders undreamt of in our time will we have wrought in another generation and another? How far will our nomadic species have wandered by the end of the next century and the next millennium? Our remote descendants, safely arrayed on many worlds through the solar system and beyond, will be unified by their common heritage, by their regard for their home planet, and by the knowledge that whatever other life may be, the only humans in all the universe come from Earth. They will gaze up and strain to find the blue dot in their skies. They will marvel at how vulnerable the repository of all our potential once was, how perilous our infancy, how humble our beginnings, how many rivers we had to cross before we found our way.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. For those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. the hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!